Good morning guys, welcome back to Alan's Allotment. It's Saturday the 4th of December 2021. Right, so we're going to start off unfortunately again with a bit of the doom and gloom. It's 2 weeks since I've actually got up here to do anything, I'm afraid. I'm going to show you a little bit of footage very shortly from last weekend, which was the 28th of November, if memory serves me right. It was Saturday the 28th of November. It was right after Storm Arwen, and it was still 60-mile-an-hour winds at the time of the video, and so the audio is a little bit muffled, but hopefully you can make out what I was actually trying to say. So I'll show you that now. Hi guys, it's Saturday. I'm not sure on the date, I haven't actually looked, but we've got some very gales up here, and I just want to show you some of the damage, just some of it, that the wind has done. So as you can see, we now have no third polytunnel. It's over there in a million bits. I ain't doing anything at all today in this weather, so it can stay. It's smashed fences down and ripped that straight out, lift the beds the whole lot. And it's actually just, even though there was posts buried into the ground holding the beds, they obviously weren't deep enough. The winds got in and tore it right out. We've had over 80-mile-an-hour winds up here. Thankfully that one is still standing, and this small one is still standing, but there's a lot of damage over in the Pigeon loft area as well. The polytunnel door has been, the whole polytunnel has been twisted out of shape. The door had flew open. Kenny's managed to prop the door the best he can. I just need to get in there with a screwdriver and some long screws. It's through all the strawberry plants and everything all over the place, and basically that's the least of my worries. As long as I can save the polytunnel, we just need to get some screws, great big 4 or 5 inch screws into the doors. I'm just coming in here out of the wind. So thankfully this is still standing, and well, fingers crossed, that's all I can say. I'm just noticing there we're getting a bit of a rip in the plastic on this window. Maybe get a bit of tape on that before I go, just to try and stop it. If that gets in there, the wind gets in here, it's going to destroy this as well. I think I better just get cracking guys and see what little bit of repairs I can get done before it gets any worse. Right, so as you can see, the wind destroyed that polytunnel. Now, I was so disheartened by the time I'd done a little bit of patching on the treehouse, patched that little tear in the window. I'd also put a few extra buttons on round where I had opened windows up to try and keep it all intact. And by the time I'd done that, then I managed to get the door screwed shut on the other polytunnel just out here in the Pigeon loft area. Then basically the weather was just horrendous and way too cold. I ended up just walking away for the day, and I didn't touch that polytunnel that had been tore up. Now in that clip I had said that it had actually been anchored down into the ground, but when a little bit of an examination showed me I hadn't actually anchored those beds, which I thought I had. They were sitting on the surface, and it was always going to be my intention to put posts on internally, bray them in, and then screw through into the framing to hold it in place, but we never got to that stage, and hence we lost the polytunnel. So partly my own fault because we put the plastic on, but we didn't know the winds were coming. Certainly not at that severe force, and it was too little too late. We didn't get the posts in, and consequently we lost a lot. To say I'm a little bit disheartened about that is an understatement. Today is blown a hooligan again, so I'm probably going to get nothing done with it again today. I'm just going to try and get little bits done today wherever I can. I probably need to get inside here and have a look at this polytunnel, see if I can't straighten the door out a bit and knock the frame back into shape with a sledgehammer, and see what I can do. Pick up all the strawberry plants that have been lying there for 2 weeks on the path and just have a tidy up in there or whatever. I got a load of garlic delivered, which I was intended to plant 2 weeks ago. It's sitting in a bag starting to sprout. I need to get that in. And then on the Sunday morning, right after that little clip, we had to have one of our dogs put to sleep as well. He'd been ill for 2 or 3 weeks and he'd lost a significant amount of weight. Everything he was eating, he couldn't keep down. He'd been in the vets overnight and on drips and all sorts. And then he was on steroids in the end. But unfortunately, he had no quality of life left in the end. And he was basically, he'd given up. So on the Sunday, 8 o'clock in the morning, we ended up having to have him put to sleep. Then we came up Sunday morning. It was snowing and blowing a hooligan. And I've bedded him in the corner of the allotment. And that was a marathon in itself. And that's all I did on the Sunday. I simply bedded the dog. And I went home. And I haven't been back to the allotment until now. And thankfully I have Kenny I can rely on, who has been looking after all the birds. Whilst I've been going through some difficult times. Let's just say that. We've also got other issues which I'm not going to delve into going on in life as well. I'm going to have this cup of coffee, guys, and then I'm going to say, oh, before I go, I might as well finish the doom and gloom. I've also, on top of everything else that's gone on, I have made a final decision. I am packing all of the pigeons in. So even all the stock birds that I was keeping are now going to be for sale. There's no going back and there's no changing my mind. All of the birds are going to be for sale. I'm getting rid of all of the pigeons. So that's all of that out of the way. Hopefully I haven't depressed you too much and you can see what else I get done today, if anything. Right guys, we'll just show you this before we start. You can probably see the gap in each. Now this is not severe, but it's bad enough that I had to put a great big bolt right through into the door to hold it. And we had to put another one in here as well. Because you can see the gap in the door where the frame's twisted and the bar was no longer holding it. And if you can possibly see inside there, the mess with all the strawberry plants and everything. I haven't been in here yet. So I'm going to try and square this frame up a bit with the sledgehammer. Knock it in from the sides to see if we can't get it lined up again. Once I've taken the screws out. And then see if we can get in there and tidy this out a bit. Guys, that's a couple of jobs jobbed. So we've got all the strawberries picked up off here now and potted back in again the best we could. We'll probably lose 1 or 2 now, but that's just the way it is. But what I've done is, rather than put them back on the bench, because we forecast more gales midweek next week, I've left them standing on the soil. As you can see, 1 or 2 is just coloured because they were out of the pot completely. We've put them back in though and hopefully they'll recover. Like I said, if they don't all make it, well, it's no big deal. So I'll put those back into the pots, but what I've done is I've decided I'll put them on the ground so they can't be blew off here again when the polytunnel's shaking about. And I've just laid them on the ground and we'll just have to keep our fingers crossed and hope to make a comeback and see what happens, guys. So that's what we've got done there. I picked up the worst of the soil off the path that I could, and then I've just kicked the shavings about to cover any extras and surplus. We lost all of the red lettuce and the onions. Pretty much that had fell off completely upside down onto the path. But somehow, miraculously, these ones stayed on the bench. And they are growing very, very slow at this time of the year, as you would expect. But they are still surviving. So we might get 1 or 2 of these salvaged out. I'm going to move them down onto the ground as well in a moment. We'll give them another little drop of water and then we'll put them down on the ground. I've also done a bit of a repair. I tried to knock the polytunnel in at the ends again to close the gap on the door, but it was solid. It just wasn't moving at all. So I've had no option but to put a piece of extra board in the gap that we had. Not all the way up, otherwise the door wouldn't have shut because of the angle. It's sort of on an angle like this. So the biggest gap was at the bottom and around where the bar was. So basically all I've done, and now you can hear outside, it's pouring down now. So basically what I've done is I've put this board in here. And I've put great big long screws now into this on an angle. into the main joist, and there's a little bit on the tight side, but as you can see I can now lock that up again safely and securely, and it's even tighter now than it was, to be honest. But the drawback is when it's wet it'll be a bit on the tight side, but it's better being on the tight side than on the slack side, as you can see, guys. So I'm just thinking what we can do next. Whatever we decide on, we'll bring you along, but of course the weather's against me, still blowing a gale, and it's now pouring down as well. So this is where last weekend I came up in the snow and we buried Echo, our dog. We have two dogs, or we had two dogs. Both of them were rescue dogs 11 years ago, and there was only two in the kennel, so we took both. And this one in particular was a problem dog. He'd been rehomed a few times and they kept taking him back because they couldn't handle him. But we persevered with him, and he had a good life with us. He was a fantastic guard dog, but he killed cushions, hoovers, barked at everybody, and he was just a problem dog, but he was a good dog. And that's where we've put Echo. And as you can see, damage. I don't even know where this one's came from, but it's clearly ripped off from somewhere, probably the top of the pigeon lofts. I haven't even had a look, but thankfully the pigeon lofts aren't leaking in. I can't actually see if there's any damage up there or not, but yeah, you see all the pigeons out still enjoying themselves no matter what the weather is. But yeah, like I said, guys, I've made a final decision. All of the pigeons have to go now. I'm just going to keep the few hens and the garden area, and I can make use of these sheds when they're empty. That's for another day. I'm just going to go over there in the garden now and see what, if any, more damage has happened over here. Guys, just so you can see, the polytunnel that was is still in dire states, ripped beyond repair. We're going to just dismantle all of this. I'm going to possibly make a start on this in the next 10 minutes or so. What I'm bothered about is making a start, the weather turning bad, and making it in a worse situation than it currently is. Let's see what happens. Right guys, I made a start, but the rain's beat me. I'm going to have to give it up as a bad job. I made a start of taking the front off and some of the runners, and as you can see, it's just weakened the structure even more now. I've got a few runners off here, and I've got a bit of plastic cut out of it on this side here, and some of the lats off. I was trying to salvage some of this wood, but I can't reach up there to get at the lats. I can't find the ladders, and as you can see, the wind is horrendous anyways. Now tomorrow's forecast to be a little bit calmer, so I'm going to have to make a big effort tomorrow, see if we can get it dismantled and at least salvage the wood if nothing. Right guys, that's it, final roundup. I'm afraid the weather's beat us, as you can hear. It's blowing a hooligan outside and it's absolutely throwing it down. I know I like a challenge, but this is ridiculous. I can't continue to work in this. I have another idea. It's called going home and getting some food and sitting in front of the fire. It is what it is. Can't do anything about it. There's no point in fretting over it. We'll just have to wait and see if tomorrow's weather is a little bit better, and see if we can get up tomorrow and do another little bit. It's just if the winds get any stronger tonight, then they're going to, well, it might save me a job actually in dismantling that. Either way, I'm going to have a hell of a mess to tidy up one way or another, guys. But there we go. I'm sitting in here with my hands round the cup trying to keep warm. And this is just diabolical, guys. I've locked all the birds up now, and I'm going to have this, and I'm going to make my way down home. At this point, I just wanted to say a massive thank you as well to Steve at Steve's Seaside Kitchen. I think his channel's called. When he had heard about the polytunnel getting blown away and smashed up, he very kindly offered to provide me with some seeds or seedlings, cuttings, things like that, which was very, very nice of the guy. As it happens, I'm not going to be planting anything else at this time. I've got the few bits and pieces in this other polytunnel down here that I managed to salvage, and I've got the onions and leeks coming on, and a few beetroot and a couple of lettuce. I'm just going to have to be content with that. I'm going to try and get this garlic in tomorrow. It's even too wild to go back out there now and do that, to be honest with you, because the beds that I'm going to put it in do want a little tiny bit of weeding, not much, but they want a little bit of weeding. And I'm hoping tomorrow, I think tomorrow's at least going to be dry and not as windy, so we'll try and get that done tomorrow. Right guys, sorry it's been a bit of a doom and gloom video. As I said, they can't all be good ones, but thanks to all my subscribers who follow me along faithfully. Thanks to all the new subscribers. We've had more new subscribers. I really do appreciate all your comments, likes and dislikes. And wherever you are in the world, please stay safe, be practical, keep yourselves out of harm's way. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again in the next video.